Now, defense forums are exploding. Scroll through any naval news site, and you'll see the same wave of anger. People are furious. They're saying the Navy has lost its mind. Critics are calling it Little Crappy Ship 2.0 and screaming about missile counts. Only 12 VLS cells, when China's building destroyers with 64. On paper, it looks like retreat. But here's what they don't understand. The Navy's current frigate program, the Constellation class, is already years behind schedule. The first ship won't deliver until 2029 at the earliest. The Navy only ordered 2 before canceling the rest. On December 19th, the Navy stopped debating and pulled the trigger. The Secretary of the Navy officially announced the Golden Fleet Initiative. The plan to rely on European designs? Dead. The plan to wait until 2029? Over. He explicitly stated, "We are done admiring the problem. Our focus is steel in the water." This is no longer a rumor, it's a wartime order. If you understand that steel in the water today beats perfect designs a decade from now, drop a comment below. Today, we're breaking down why the Navy abandoned their foreign frigate, how a Coast Guard cutter becomes a warship, and why 2028 isn't just a deadline, it's a warning to every rival watching. This is the story of the Golden Fleet. Let's address the criticism. Because understanding the FFX means understanding why the Constellation collapsed so spectacularly. In 2020, the Navy chose the Constellation class based on Italy's FREMM design. The Navy ordered FFG-62 Constellation and FFG-63 Chesapeake. The plan was 20 ships to replace the aging Oliver Hazard Perry-class frigates and free up billion-dollar destroyers from patrol work. But trying to Americanize a European design triggered a cascading failure. The Italian FREMM used European standards, European suppliers, European damage control systems. Everything had to be modified for US Navy requirements. The modifications added weight. The weight required more power. The power systems needed redesign. The redesigns caused delays. The delays increased costs. By 2023, the program was hemorrhaging money and time. The first Constellation, originally scheduled for 2026, slipped to 2029. Some analysts say 2030 or later. The cost climbed past $1.3 billion per ship. That's more than some destroyers. A $1.3 billion paperweight, protecting absolutely no one. The Navy needed frigates 5 years ago. The Constellations won't arrive until 2029 at the earliest. That's a 9-year gap between urgent need and delivery. Meanwhile, we're using $2 billion Arleigh Burke destroyers to chase drug runners in the Caribbean and patrol shipping lanes in the Red Sea. That's like using a Ferrari to deliver pizza. It burns out the fleet and bankrupts the budget. When Houthi rebels attacked commercial shipping in the Red Sea, the Navy sent destroyers. Billion-dollar warships doing work frigates should handle. The Secretary was blunt. The small surface combatant inventory is 1/3 of what the fleet needs. 1/3 of requirements. That's a strategic crisis that gets people killed if shooting starts. So, the official decision is brutal, but necessary. The Navy is capping the Constellation class at just the first 2 ships, FFG-62 and FFG-63. That's it. Why? Because American shipyards couldn't adapt the European design fast enough. We don't have time to Americanize foreign blueprints while threats rise in the Pacific. We need an American hull that American workers already know how to weld. The internet exploded. The Navy's giving up. We're surrendering to China. But the critics missed what was actually happening. The Navy wasn't giving up. They were waking up. Here's where the critics completely missed the strategy. The Navy looked at what was already working, not foreign designs, not experimental concepts, actual American ships already protecting US interests. The Legend-class national security cutter, the Coast Guard's largest vessel, built by Huntington Ingalls in Pascagoula, Mississippi. 11 of these ships are already operational. They patrol the Bering Sea, where 40-foot waves and freezing ice break inferior ships. These hulls are proven survivors. They operate for months without resupply. The numbers: 418 feet long, 4,500 tons displacement, 12,000 nautical mile range, crew of 120 sailors. And American shipyards already know exactly how to build it. The Navy's announcement was straightforward. The FFX frigate would use the Legend-class hull. Same basic design, Same proven systems, modified for combat instead of law enforcement. And that's when the internet lost its mind. Just a Coast Guard cutter? Built to commercial standards? This can't survive combat. We're sending sailors to war in a glorified police boat. But the commercial standards criticism is actually the secret weapon. Commercial standards mean better reliability and easier maintenance than boutique military systems. The engines are standard industrial models, not custom-built, single-source military engines that take 6 months to replace. If a pump fails at sea, parts can be sourced from dozens of suppliers worldwide. Delivered in hours, not months. The ship can be repaired anywhere, not just specialized military yards. The Navy learned this in World War II. Sherman tanks weren't the best tanks. German Tigers were superior technically. Better armor, bigger gun, more advanced optics. But America built 50,000 Shermans because they were simple, reliable, repairable in the field. Germany built 1,047 Tigers and struggled to keep them operational. By 1945, most Tigers were abandoned, not because they were destroyed, but because they broke down and couldn't be fixed. The Legend class represents the same philosophy applied to 21st century warfare. It's not the most advanced frigate in the world. It's a frigate that actually exists when the shooting starts. Huntington Ingalls has the complete production baseline. Templates exist. Workforce knows the procedures. Supply chain established. When the Navy says 2028, they're looking at a shipyard that delivered 11 nearly identical vessels. Once HII delivers the first FFX, the Navy plans competitive bidding for other shipyards. Austal USA and Mobile, East Coast yards, all competing to deliver ships faster and cheaper. This is the Golden Fleet concept, not a few perfect ships taking a decade each. Many capable ships being launched every year. China's watching. They built their Navy by iterating rapidly. Now, America is adopting the same approach, and it's making Beijing nervous. Now let's address the biggest criticism, the one that has every keyboard warrior screaming. Only 12 VLS cells. The Constellation had 32. How can 12 missiles stop China? We're sending sailors to die in undergunned ships. Here's the hard truth. The FFX carries 12 VLS cells. Critics are screaming, only 12? But they fail to do the math. These cells are quad-packed with evolved Sea Sparrow missiles. That's 48 interceptors specifically designed to kill the cruise missiles threatening our carriers. Combined with the 76mm super rapid gun and deck-mounted naval strike missiles, this isn't a destroyer. It's a goalkeeper. Its job isn't to level cities, it's to ensure the carrier survives to do it. This ship isn't designed to fight alone. It's designed for distributed warfare. The modern Navy operates in strike groups. Aircraft carriers provide overwhelming air power. Arleigh Burke destroyers carry 90-plus missiles each. Submarines hunt beneath the waves. The frigate's job isn't to carry the most missiles, it's to multiply the effectiveness of the entire group. The FFX has a massive flight deck for its size. It operates 2 MH-60R Seahawk helicopters simultaneously. These choppers hunt submarines with torpedoes, sonobuoys, and advanced sensors that detect enemy subs from miles away. The frigate pushes forward, deploying helicopters to search hundreds of miles ahead of the carrier group. When they find a submarine, they kill it before it can get within torpedo range of high-value units. That's one Chinese submarine that never fires its weapons. The ship also serves as a mothership for unmanned systems. MQ-8C Fire Scout unmanned helicopters launch from the flight deck. Unmanned surface vessels deploy from the stern ramp. These drones extend sensor range by hundreds of miles. They spot threats, relay targeting data back to the destroyers and carrier. The frigate becomes the command center for a swarm of unmanned systems. This is the Wolfpack concept. You don't hunt a bear with one giant cannon, you hunt it with 20 wolves attacking from every angle. Do the math with me. If the Navy builds 20 FFX frigates over the next decade, that's 240 VLS cells added to the fleet. 40 anti-ship missile launchers. 40 platforms deploying helicopters and drones. Now imagine trying to counter that if you're China. You need submarines to hunt each frigate, aircraft to track them, destroyers to engage them. And while you're focusing resources on these undergunned frigates, the carrier air wings and destroyer missile salvos are coming at you from different directions. Competitors need exponentially more resources to counter that kind of distributed presence. That's exactly the point. Now let's talk about why 2028 matters. The Secretary said the Navy would deliver at the speed of the threat in real time, not the comfort level of bureaucracy. That phrase reveals everything. The threat isn't waiting for decade-long programs. The threat is moving now. Taiwan, the South China Sea, naval power balance in the Western Pacific. These aren't abstract concepts. They're near-term flashpoints determining the 21st century's shape. Having the first FFX by 2028 means additional combat power before the crisis timeline. Ships that can patrol, deter, fight if necessary during the critical window when competitors might test American resolve. But getting there requires breaking normal Pentagon procurement. That cycle usually takes 10 to 15 years. The President and the Secretary of the Navy have signed off on this as part of the Golden Fleet. The directive is absolute. Launch the first hull in 2028. Not design it by 2028. Launch it. Huntington Ingalls in Pascagoula isn't starting from scratch. They are taking a hot production line and shifting gears from white hulls to gray hulls. Everything is proven. The hull works, engines work, systems integrate. The only modifications are weapons and sensors. Huntington Ingalls can start cutting steel immediately. No waiting for final design approval, no prototype phase. The first ship is a production ship because the design is validated by 11 operational cutters. After HII delivers initial ships, other yards bid for follow-on contracts. Multiple production lines mean faster fleet growth. China iterates rapidly. They build a design, test it operationally, learn improvements, build the next variant. They get hulls in the water. Now, finally, America is doing the same. This is how America built 151 carriers during World War II. How we launched Liberty ships 42 days after laying keels. How we won the industrial war against nations that thought America was too slow to compete. 2028 isn't just a goal. It's a promise to allies that help is coming. It's a warning to competitors that America's industrial base is waking up. We will field capability at the speed of the threat, not the comfort level of bureaucracy. That's the Secretary's order. So how does the Navy build a warship in 3 years when modern frigates take a decade? They stopped chasing perfection and started building reality. They chose an American design that American workers already know how to build. They skipped endless requirements studies and prototype testing. They told the shipyard to use what works and get steel in the water. This is wartime footing. This is what it looks like when a service realizes debate time has passed and action time has arrived. The FFX won't be the most heavily armed ship in the fleet. It won't have the most advanced radar. It won't win awards for revolutionary technology. But it will exist. It will patrol. It will fight. And it will be there when the crisis comes. That's what matters. Not what looks impressive in PowerPoint presentations, but what actually floats when allies need protection and enemies need deterring. The Golden Fleet isn't a slogan. It's a promise that America's industrial base can still deliver when threats require it. Competitors are watching, counting our ships, assessing our will. The FFX sends them a message. When America decides to move, we move fast, and we bring the industrial might that won the 20th century. If this look behind the Navy's fastest warship program impressed you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content about American naval power. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.